Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Cassandra Olivia and I have missed you all dearly. I am so sorry I have not been posting, but when I tell you guys I've been super busy for the wedding / Mother's Day / prom / summer season. It's been super crazy. So I did Amani's makeup about 2 months ago now and I'm just now getting around to editing, so I'm literally like 25 videos behind, but they will all be coming soon. So Mani's never worn makeup before. Her mom has been bringing her to me for about 6 years now. Her and her mom are faithful clients of mine. They typically only come in to get a silk press. So I did press Mani's hair off camera, and then I went ahead and put in wand curls, which I'll be taking out towards the end of this video to just show the final look. But I did go ahead and pin up her wand curls so that way they are nice and tight. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going in. I did spray her face with some Urban Decay all-nighter and just make sure that I asked her what her skin type was. She wasn't quite sure, so I'm just going to assume that it's around average / oily. And then I'm just going in and making sure that she's moisturized and she has no additional product. So I did sanitize my hands off camera, and then I was just going in with this Louise base in the shade 4. This is the Rumor base. It did come in a bundle of 5 different shades, and I'm just using the darkest shade that I have available. I do believe I have number 5, but that one is at home, so I'm just going to use this one. And don't worry if it seems light, guys. You have to really trust the process when you're doing makeup. I'm literally going to blend the hell out of this, and then I'm just going to make it this color so that way her eyeshadows can stick to this. And then when I'm done, I am going to go in with the face powder or dark brown powder just to blend out any of that like white cast, okay? So don't freak out, her eyes aren't going to be this light. So now I'm just going in with my Juvias Nubian palette, and I'm going in with that second shade that I'm tapping into. It's like that lighter brown shade. I like to use this a lot for my transition, and I'm just going to apply this all over the lid. I am going in with the Juvias Place brush, but it is discontinued. So they have other brushes, but this particular one they no longer have on the website, but it's literally one of my faves. So I'm just going ahead and just dabbing this all over her lid, and then I am going to start to blend and transition her shades together. So I'm just making sure I apply a decent amount of this. It's just a lighter brown, nothing too crazy, but as you can see, it's already starting to make the concealer look a little bit more natural, and this will help to blend my eyeshadows. This is a super simple look. Mani nor her mom wear makeup, so she was pretty much like, this is what she's wearing, do something really natural and pretty. And I still wanted to make her look like herself, just look glammed up. So whenever I have a client that is a first-time client wearing makeup, I try to make them look as natural as possible, just a little bit more glam. So I would consider this like a soft glam look, and I just added like a pop of that shimmer on her lid so that way it'll match with her outfit that she'll be wearing later. So here I am now. I'm just going in with that darker brown shade, and you'll see me tap into it in just a second, but it's on the bottom row. It's like a reddish brown color, and I'm just doing this to add a little bit of depth and dimension to her eye look. And I just start in the outer portion, and then I will start to blend that inward. I'm using the same brush. If you don't want to make it muddy, you can definitely use 2 different brushes, but I like to use, for this particular look, because it's super simple, I'm just using this to blend outward and just using it with the previous shade I had on because I'm going to blend them together anyway, just to create like a soft blend. But you definitely can use different blending brushes depending on the look that you're doing. This one is super easy, and I was freestyling, so I just opted to use the same exact brush so that way I can just blend into the 2 colors. So I'm just applying a little bit at a time. That's just typically how I do my eyeshadow. I don't like to cake on too much. I like to just build it up, meaning that I apply a little bit at a time, a little bit more, and then when it feels good enough, then I will start to blend. The reason being is because it's nothing worse than having eyeshadow that's too dark and then you can't blend it outward. So now I'm just going in with my favorite tool, which is my fingers, and I'm just tapping into that shimmery shade that's in the palette, and then I'm just going to tap that over her eyelid, and then I'm just going to blend that in using that same blending brush that I used previously. This palette is literally my go-to if I have a client that wants a natural look. I like this one and the Nubian 2 or the Warrior palette. They all have pretty like nice brown shades for all skin tones, so that's just like my go-to. So that is her eyeshadow right now. It looks very like minimal, but it's going to come together once I do the rest of her face and I add on some lashes. So I just want to make that known. So I am going to go ahead and wipe off any excess fallout from under her eyes and her forehead, and I'm just going in with a liner brush. This was actually given to me by one of my clients. I hope, see if I can find her website. I'm not sure if she still sells this or not. She was selling lashes, and it came with this liner and a lash applicator, but I'm not quite sure if she still sells these or not because I've literally had this for 2 years and I just now getting around to using it because I have so much makeup. So I'm just going on and just giving her a nice line so that way I have a nice space to put on her lashes. And I will be adding the lashes that I had on earlier, that I showed in the beginning. They are Ardell brand. You can get them at Sally's or Amazon. And I'm going to be using the wispies. These are like an everyday lash. They don't feel heavy and they're very, very natural looking. So that way my client doesn't feel like she has like drag lashes or like super exaggerated lashes. It's very natural, but it just gives the eyes a little pop. So whenever I have a first timer or somebody that does not wear makeup, I tend to use these unless they want a more glammed up look. Then I will do the double wispies. But 9 times out of 10, I'm using just the regular wispies. And that is that. So I'm just applying these with some Duo Lash Glue. I like to use the clear kind. And then I'm just going in with this fan that I got off of Amazon. And I will link a few of these things down below. But most of these things you can get from your local beauty supply or like Juvia's Place website or whatever. And now I'm just going in with some Maybelline Fit Me foundation. And this is in the shade 355. And I'm just applying this all over her skin. And for new clients, I typically am really good at eyeballing them and just telling what shade will look right on them. But if not, I always do a little patch test on like the cheek area and just try to blend into the neck and the face. Sometimes you have clients where their neck is darker than their forehead or their neck is darker than their face or vice versa. So I try to just give an overall match, but I try to match the neck most times, 9 times out of 10. But you do have those instances where sometimes you cannot, but I just base it based off of the client. And I'm sorry if I'm ranting. I'm just trying to explain to you guys what I'm doing. I'm very thorough when I do makeup, and I'm just trying to explain to you guys my thought process. So I'm going to finish blending this 355 foundation, and then once I'm done, I am going to blend it out with the Crayon case, like a beauty blender type of brush or type of tool, I'll say. It's not quite a beauty blender, but it's like their blender. And then I'm going to go in with my concealer in the LA Girl Pro, and I'm just going to use the shade, I believe it was, oh my goodness, what was the shade? I cannot remember what the shade was, but I'll drop it down below. So I had it in my phone notes. The shade that I use for the concealer is Almond by LA Girl Pro. That was really going to bother me. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not about to redo this part of my voiceover. You guys know I'm a one and done type of girl. And to be honest, I don't even listen to my voiceovers. I literally record them and post my videos. So if I sound crazy, it's just going to sound crazy. So I am using the concealer in the shade Almond. And I can get this off of Amazon. I got the kit that sells all of the shades and the skin color correctors, but you can just go to your local beauty supply. They range from about $5 or $6 now. They used to be like $2 or $3, but because of the popularity over the years, they have gone up. So yesterday's price is not today's price, but it's still affordable, and I really like this brand. So I'm just going in with that same Crayon case blender, and I'm just blending everything out. I want her to have a natural highlight. Nothing's too bright, so it's going to look a little crazy once I put the powder on, but once you blend and then you go back over again with the face powder, it's literally going to look flawless, okay? So I'm just going in now with my Fenty powder, and I'm just going in with the shade Honey. Fenty is like my all-time favorite powder right now. I have all of the colors, and this is just my go-to. So for this client, I just decided to conceal in sections. The reason being is because the under eye, it's the first time, I didn't want her to be moving around too much. So I wanted to get the under eye set, and then I didn't want the concealer on her forehead to dry or on her lip and her chin. So I just did her under eye first, and I'm just going in adding concealer on her cupid's bow and on her chin area. And then I'm going to blend that out, and I'm going to just add some powder in those areas as well. I'm going to let it bake for just a couple minutes, and then I'm going to dust it away with my Sigma face brush. And then after that, I'm going to start going back in with my face powder, and I am going to set it with some Urban Decay, just so that way everything can melt and she doesn't look dry and cakey. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So we're not done the face yet, but I just went ahead and preset her face with the Urban Decay All Nighter. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in her brows. Madi did not have her brows done, and she has a naturally full brow. So I'm literally just going to do the bare minimum. I'm not going to make them look too thick. I just want to clean them up and just make them a little bit more uniform. So whenever you have a client with natural full brows, you just have to be sure to use a very light hand, so that way you don't overdo it and they don't look boxy. So literally how she came in is how she's going to look. I just want to make them look a little bit more clean shape-wise, but I'm not going to make them look super thick because they're already full. And being heavy-handed can make this go really left. So I was being very gentle with my pressure, just being sure to use both sides. And I am going in with the brush by ColourPop. It's called what is this, Bangin Brunette. And these are pretty affordable. I like ColourPop as well. I like these eyebrow pencils a lot. So I'm just going in and just lightly cleaning up her shape. And then once I'm done, I'm going to go back to her face and contour. So right now she's very pale, or let me say like flashback looking, but that's okay. I'm not done, guys. Again, trust the process. Once I'm done this, I am going to go back in and start to blend the rest of her face. I'm going to start to contour and then use her face powder, and literally everything is going to melt together. So now I'm just going in with my BH Cosmetics contour palette, and I'm going in with that darkest shade, and I'm just going to add that to her cheeks and just around where the concealer stops, where I stopped blending, just to give it a natural melt. And right now it's not looking like it's doing too much, but once I spray inside her face, it's literally going to melt into that previous shade that I put on by Fenty, and it's going to just give it a seamless blend. So I'm applying a generous amount of this. It's not going to do too much. And then once I'm done applying this, I am actually going to go in with an eyeshadow. I do this sometimes if I feel as though that my powder is not dark enough. And of course I do have other powders. I didn't have them with me just because I was doing a lot of weddings and it was in my wedding bag. So when in doubt, finesse. So I'm gonna go in with a darker shade from that same Nubian palette that I showed you guys previously, and I'm just gonna go around her face and contour with a darker shade in that palette. Not the darkest, but like a dark warm brown, just to give her a little bit more contour, just because I wanted it to come out just a little bit more. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Yes, I'm setting her again with powder, and I'm going to fan her. Guys, I do this like probably 3 or 4 times throughout the process because I like everything to be nice and melted. So as you can see, she still has her nice highlight, but everything is nice and married together, and she doesn't look too ashy and it's not giving like super yellow. I do this to ensure that she looks as natural as possible, but she still has a natural highlight and she doesn't look like super yellow under her eye. You can't really tell where the highlight starts and where it ends versus where the contour starts and ends. It marries it all together, but it still gives you a flawless finish and a flawless face. So I opted not to do any highlighter on her cheeks or her nose just because she did have a little bit of acne. So whenever you have a client that has like acne or discoloration or bumps, try not to highlight over those areas because it will make it look more noticeable, and we were just going for super natural and pretty. So I'm just going to take out her pin curls and then pull them apart, and then I'm going to show you guys how they look at the end. I know I've talked this whole video, but I wanted this kind of to be like a tutorial so that way you guys can understand what I'm doing. And then after I'm done this, I am going to go in and add like a shimmery shade to her brow bone, her inner corner of her eye, just to make it pop because I feel like I just wanted a little bit more pop. And then I am going to go in, prime her lip with a lip primer by Fenty Beauty. And then I'm going to go in with a brown liner that I got from my local beauty supply store, like $1 or $2 lip liner. It was like a shade dark brown or cocoa, I can't remember. And then I'm going to go in with my lip. It's going to be the Beauty Bakerie Surreptitious. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish blending her out. So this brown shade I'm putting in right here is just to get rid of any of that white cast that was from the P. Louise base, to just make everything marry just a little bit better so it looks very natural. We were going for soft and pretty, so I didn't want anything to be too bold or too out of place. I just wanted her to look like she was done up. So this pretty much concludes the end of this tutorial, and I am using a spoolie and a lip brush. I never dip and put these on my client's face directly from like the container because that's nasty. You don't want to contaminate. And then I set her again, and then I just went in with my Crayon case mascara and then just blended her lashes. So let me know what you guys think of this look, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and so much for being patient, and I will see you guys later. Bye.